What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Just United. We're back for another one. This time, it's the Manchester United versus Aston Villa at Villa Park on Sunday. This is the match preview. And don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button and turn your notifications on down below so you're up to date with the latest Manchester United news. As you can see on screen, one of the things I want to talk about today could potentially be Erik Ten Hag's last game. But before I get into that, one of the things that I want to talk about is Unai Emery. I want to talk about Unai Emery because I believe that, he's a great manager. And as we saw midweek against Bayern Munich, they pulled a result out of the bag in the Champions League, beating them 1-0. Who would have thought? I don't think anybody could have predicted Villa beating Bayern Munich 1-0 in the Champions League. And that's all because of this man, Unai Emery. The reason I want to talk about him because he's doing a great job. And we saw from Arsenal fans when he was their manager that, he wasn't the right man for them. He wasn't taking them to the level that they wanted him to be at. But do you know what? We can see now how he's getting his team to play and how he wants them to play. And he's challenging against these big teams. And, to prove that, he beat Bayern Munich in the Champions League. So do you know what, Arsenal fans? Cry more, because if you had this manager, you could have maybe potentially won a league. But now, instead, you decided to stay with the bum, Arteta, and, you may potentially bottle another league. And I got nothing but respect for Unai Emery because he had to deal with you fans putting it on him every single week. And now we can see every single week he's putting in performances from his team. And you know what? We've got nothing but praise for the guy. And I want to talk about his counterpart, Erik Ten Hag, again for the second week running. This is a big game for Erik Ten Hag. He could potentially be running out of time. I saw during the week with an interview from Sir Jim Ratcliffe with the BBC that, he said that he didn't want to answer the question on Erik Ten Hag, on his future. He said that he's got a footballing board in place to deal with Erik Ten Hag and deal with the decision making, which is fair enough. But being a partial owner of Manchester United, it does not fill me with confidence that, one of the owners of Manchester United is not coming out backing Erik Ten Hag. Yes, he said that the decision is up to the footballing staff that he has put in place, like Dan Ashworth, Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox. He's put that in place for Erik Ten Hag, but it doesn't fill me with confidence knowing that, you're not backing the manager publicly. And we know Sir Jim is going to be there on Sunday at Villa Park, and that may potentially be to give Erik Ten Hag his marching orders at full time. He may be walking into that dressing room at full time and telling Erik Ten Hag that he's sacked. I hope not. I hope that the footballing decision is up to the staff that he's put in place. And you know what? Erik Ten Hag has won 2 trophies in 2 seasons for Manchester United, and it's not something that should be sniffed at. It's not something that should be disregarded from this board when making this decision on the manager. Yes, the performances and the results haven't been great this season, but we've seen with lots of managers, like I just spoke about, Arteta in his 3rd season, the results weren't great. They were very poor. And you know what? Erik Ten Hag is finding himself in a bit of a predicament now going into this game. We've got rid of some players. One of those players being Scott McTominay, and we've seen that he's flourishing now under Antonio Conte, playing for Napoli, scoring goals. And Antonio Conte's come out and said, scoring goals and, playing football is in Scott McTominay's blood. And Erik Ten Hag doesn't have that kind of player at his disposal anymore. I know he signed his own players, but these players that he signed are still gelling together, are still getting to know each other on the pitch, still trying to get to know each other's habits and how each other play. So, that takes me nicely into my predicted 11 for this game. And I've gone with the predicted 11, which is a little bit different from the Porto game because, I think that we need something different from that game. And, Erik Ten Hag cannot keep playing the same players every week if they're not giving him the results he wants. So I've gone with Mazzarari at right back. I've gone with Harry Maguire at centre back because I do believe, as I said in the preview to the Porto game, players should be rewarded for how they play in these games. And if getting an equaliser in the dying minutes of that Porto game for Erik Ten Hag, in which we know is a crucial game in terms of him staying in the job. I don't know what else a player has to do to get into the team. So I've gone with Harry Maguire. And then I've gone with Lissandro Martinez in that centre back pairing with him because I believe that we need his aggressiveness in this game against this Villa team who are very good when they are in the opposing half. And I've gone with Dalot at left back, even though it's not his natural position. We haven't been with a left back all season. Tyrell Malacia is still coming back from injury. Luke Shaw's injured again. He's been missing. He got himself available for England, and we don't know what's happened in that period of time of him coming back from the Euros to not playing for Manchester United. So we can't necessarily do anything else with that left back position. I've gone with Agate and Casemiro holding in midfield because we need someone who's going to put in tackles, who's going to get across that pitch and, provide cover for that back line. These two players will do that. These two players will put in a shift and make those tackles and make sure that those Villa players, when they're heading towards our goal, aren't unopposed. I've gone with Bruno in the 10. Yes, he got himself sent off again midweek. And, it's pure petulance from him. He shouldn't be putting his foot that high when he's on a yellow card. So I've got nothing to defend him with. But we know Erik Ten Hag, again, isn't going to drop him for this game because Bruno is his most creative player. And then I've gone with Garnacho on the right wing, and I've gone with Højlund up top, and I've gone with Rashford on the left. The reason for that is because I believe that Garnacho will provide those crosses when we need them, and he's better off the right. Yes, Ahmad is a good option on the right, but I believe that Garnacho, we need his pace, we need his unpredictability in this game, and we need someone who is actually going to provide a cross for Rasmus Højlund. And that's the reason why I've gone with Højlund up top, because he's got his goal midweek, and I'm hoping he can continue his form in this game against Villa. And then I've gone with Rashford on the left. Yes, he got subbed at halftime in the Porto game. We don't know what's gone on there. Obviously, Erik Ten Hag said it's just rotation, and that's the reason he subbed him. Obviously, Rashford's been in some goal-scoring form as well, and he's starting to find his feet again. We've seen he had little glimpses in that Porto game where he was taking on players and had opportunities to shoot. So I've gone with that starting lineup. Let me know what you think about the starting lineup. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. Let me know if you don't think that these players should be in the starting lineup. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Now we're going to talk about Aston Villa and their tactics. Aston Villa like to line up in a 4-2-2-2 with the two midfielders staying put and then the two players in front of them pushing wide, keeping that width on the pitch, as you can see on screen right now in Maddison and Rodgers. And then Ollie Watkins and Duran up top. Duran's going to be a player that we're going to watch out for. He's on fire. We've seen the goals that he can score. Close, far, crosses, headers. We've seen that he can do it all. Just like Ollie Watkins likes getting in behind. Villa like to press, and they like to make sure that they're pinning in their opposition when they're getting up the pitch. And how they do that is by doing something like this, with Tielemans and Onana pushing up, with Maddison pushing up, with Rodgers pushing up, and then Luca Dean pushing up, providing that width on the flanks. This is something that we're going to have to look out for. These four players in particular are going to be applying pressure to our back line and making sure that we can't get out of our half. So we need to be careful. When they do push up, they do like to sit in, and they would look something like this when they're in attack. As you can see there, it's pretty much a 3-2-5, which is not uncommon in modern football these days. They like to keep us pinned in, and they like to play through the middle. They like to make sure that the pressure and all the balls are coming through the middle with Onana and Tielemans. That's why I'm hoping that Casemiro and Agate can nullify that, crush their creativity, and stop the balls going forward to those forwards in Ollie Watkins, Maddison, and Duran, so they do not get any chances against Onana in goal. Obviously, it's going to be a tough task with the way Manchester United are playing at the moment. We don't know what we're going to get from this team. There hasn't been any consistency in the way Manchester United play. But I'm hoping that we put in a performance and we show Erik Ten Hag and the Manchester United board that these players are behind him and they are playing for him. So I'm going for 2-1 Manchester United win. I'm hoping that Erik Ten Hag is in a job at the end of this game. We do not know if a draw is going to be enough for him to keep his job. We do not know that. We simply cannot predict what's going to happen with Erik Ten Hag based on the results of this game, but of huge importance for Erik Ten Hag to win this game and send a message that he is fighting for his job and these players are fighting for him. That was a match preview for the Villa game. Let me know your thoughts below. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And I'll catch you on the next one, guys. See you later. Peace.